Parquet presents The Great Gildersleeve. The makers of Parquet Margarine present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Wheaton. We'll hear from The Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, I want to give you some facts about a food that's becoming more important than ever these days. That food is nutritious Parquet Margarine, the delicious, economical spread for bread made by Kraft. So here are a few simple facts that may explain why thousands of American families are using Parquet Margarine 3 times a day, at the table and for cooking, too. First, Parquet is a wholesome vegetable margarine made from carefully selected American farm products. Second, Parquet Margarine is a highly nourishing food, one of the best energy foods you can serve, and a reliable year-round source of important vitamin A. Third, Parquet is the margarine that tastes so deliciously good. Its flavor is delicate and appetizing. It's entirely different from old-time margarines. One taste will prove that to you. So for all these reasons, get acquainted with economical Parquet Margarine now. Tomorrow, ask your food dealer for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet Margarine, made by Kraft. Now let's join our friend, the Great Gildersleeve. We find him in the land of Nod, sleeping the sleep of a man who has put his car up on blocks, bought his full quota of war bonds, and saved 4.5 pounds of bacon fat. While outdoors, Jack Frost has been preparing a little surprise for him.
Uncle Boy! Hey! Hey, Uncle.
What is it, Leroy?
Are you asleep?
Not now, I'm not. What do you want?
Do you see what I see?
I don't see anything. Go away.
But look outdoors. Look out the window.
Daylight. Take it away.
No, get up and look. Look at the trees. Look at the ground.
Daylight. It gets all over everything.
But I'm trying to tell you, Unc, it's been snowing.
Well, tell Bertie or somebody. Don't come by. Did you say snowing?
If you don't believe me, get up and look.
It can't be. There's 30 days past September, April, June, and...
Here's a handful of it on the windowsill. Look.
By George, it is snow. Snow in October. Why, it hasn't snowed in October since the blizzard of '88. And that was in January.
Look. You can see your breath, Unc.
It must be freezing.
You're darn right it's freezing. The thermometer's down to 25. And you know that hole that Mr. Clanahan dug in the front yard?
Yes.
The snow's filled it up. You wouldn't know it was there.
Oh, my goodness. The water pipes will freeze.
Yeah, they will.
That Clanahan's a fine water commissioner. I've been after him for 6 days to get that hole filled in. Oh, listen to that wind. Close that window, will you, Leroy?
Come on, Unc. The house won't get any warmer till you get up and start the furnace.
Leroy, I wish you wouldn't drag in these unpleasant truths so early in the morning.
Well, come on, get up.
Don't stand there staring at me. Go down and tell him I'll be right down. Tell Bertie to keep the coffee warm. Yeah.
All right, go back to sleep if you want. But Bertie's making buckwheat cake.
Yeah, I don't... Buckwheat cake? Oh, buckwheats. One side. Gang away. The floor's cold. Where's my bathrobe? Where's my bathrobe? Bertie! Oh, I slept in it. Never mind, I found it, Bertie. Hold the buckwheats.
More coffee, Uncle Mort?
Thank you, my dear.
Pass your cup, will you? Hold it still.
I can't. I'm shivering.
I'll hold it, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Ooh, that's worse. Grab it, somebody.
I'm sorry. I'm all over goose pimples.
Why don't you go put a sweater on, Bertie?
I got on so many sweaters now I can hardly bend at the elbow, and my teeth chattering like a pair of dice.
Yeah. Marjorie, take a look at that thermometer there, will you?
I can tell you from here, Uncle Mort. It's cold.
Yes, we'll have to do something about this. While you're up, my dear, hand me a cigar, will you?
What do we do? All sit around it and warm our hands?
No, Leroy. We go out to the garage and we bring in some firewood. And I do mean you.
Oh, me and my big mouth.
I'm going to call up Clanahan right now before those water pipes freeze.
Better put your rubbers on, Leroy. That snow's wet. Oh, I don't need any.
Put your rubbers on, young man. Hello. I want to speak to Commissioner Clanahan. He won't be in? The fine water commissioner he is. And you can tell him I said so. The commissioner is not expected in today. And if anything happens to those pipes, it's on him. Oh, Leroy, close the door. As soon as Leroy comes back, I'll go down and see if I can start old Vesuvius. Bertie.
Yes, sir?
Bertie, have you ever had any acquaintance with a furnace?
Oh, I know how to work it. You just fiddle with that little doohickey out in the hall.
But that was last year. Last year we were burning oil. With coal, there's a little more to it.
Oh,
It's nothing difficult, you understand. I think you'd be very good at it.
thank you.
Anybody who's as good as you are with a shovel.
Oh, the shoveling.
Well, that comes into it. But it's not all shoveling.
Well, I don't know about that. I know how to run that doohickey. I ran it last year.
That doohickey is called a thermostat, Bertie. I wanted to speak to you about that. As I remember it, you ran it last year at about 80.
You said 70.
Yes, and I used to set it at 70. But the minute I got out of the house, you sneaked it up to 80.
Well, sometimes it gets colder than others.
Now, this is serious, Bertie. This year we got to save fuel. The temperature is going to be set at 65 degrees, and that's where it's going to stay.
65? Maybe it's going to stay, but I ain't.
Oh, you wouldn't leave us, Bertie.
Yes, ma'am. I can't work in those 65 degrees. I'll go on away from here.
Oh, now, Bertie.
I'll go for some work for somebody else if I have to.
Calm yourself, Bertie, and just remember this. If anybody offers you more than 65 degrees this winter, they're traitors.
Huh?
You don't want to work for traitors, do you, Bertie?
No, sir, not me.
Well, remember that. The government says we've all got to help save fuel, Bertie. And the way to do it is to hold the temperature down to 65 degrees. Besides, 65 is warm enough for anybody.
65 won't hatch no eggs.
No, but it'll keep you on your toes. It'll keep you from falling asleep at the broom.
Well, if the government says so, I guess that's the way it's got to be. But if it's all the same to the government, I'm going to buy me some woolies and sew myself into them.
I'm going to start looking at fur coats.
Fur coats? Oh, brother, there we get into inflation.
Oh, that's Leroy.
Huh?
He's probably got his arms full.
Yeah.
I'll let him in.
Oh, close it, Leroy, close it.
Here's the wood. Where'll I put it?
On the dining room table would be very nice.
Wise guy. Quick, move the fire screen, Bertie.
There.
Can I light the fire on?
Before we do that, young man, let's get down the cellar and start the furnace. I want to teach you how to take out the ashes.
Holy smokes, do I have to do all the work around here?
Oh, no.
I don't see what you had to go and change the furnace to coal for anyway. The oil was working all right. There wasn't any ashes. You didn't have to get up in the morning and shake it. It never went out. It was swell.
It was swell, all right. It was a comfort and a convenience. But we're going to have to give up our conveniences, Leroy. There isn't going to be enough oil to go around this winter. That's why we're burning coal. It doesn't have to come so far, so it's easier to get.
Well, it's no easier for me, I can tell you that.
Look here, young man. You want to help in this war, don't you?
Well, sure I do. I'd go right out and join the Navy. If they'd let me. Why, so would I.
Me too. Did I say that?
I think we all want to help. But I'm too old to join, Leroy, and you're too young. We've just got to help in the only way we can, and here at home. So remember, every time you carry out a load of ashes, you're in the fight as much as the next man.
Well, how about you getting in it too, Unc?
Even me. I'll get up in the mornings and wrestle with the furnace if it kills me. And I don't have to tell you, young man, when Uncle Throckmorton gets up off his pants, this country is really all out.
Put it there, Unc.
Yeah.
Let's go down and shake the insides out of that furnace.
Very good. The heat's beginning to come up. I'll have it as warm as toast here in a jiffy, Marjorie.
Now remember, Uncle Mort, 65.
Yeah, that's as warm as most toast. The only trouble is, if this cold snap lasts 3 days, we'll be out of coal. I'd better call up and order some more.
Yes, you better.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, I should have done this before, my dear. Hello? It's Summerfield Coal Company. I want a ton of coal delivered to my house this afternoon. In a week. That's a fine way to run a coal company. What's your name? Clanahan. Well, this is Gildersleeve. No wonder you're such a rotten water commissioner. You spend all your time peddling coal. Well, now you listen here, Clanahan. I want a ton of coal delivered to my house before the day is over, if you have to bring it yourself. And furthermore, I want that hole in my front yard filled in. Water commissioner. If my pipes freeze up, I'll sue you. Well, I guess I told him. Hello? Why, you... He hung up.
What did he say, Uncle Mort?
Yes, nothing fit for ladies' ears, my dear. Wasn't even fit for mine. Where's Leroy?
Oh, he's over shoveling off Mrs. Ransom's walk.
Oh, Mrs. Ransom, eh? Maybe I ought to go help him.
He doesn't need any help, Uncle Mort. He's getting paid for it, you know.
Oh, say, I wonder if she's got any heat over there. I wonder what kind of a furnace she's got.
I really couldn't say, Uncle Mort.
I wonder if it's been converted. It'd be terrible if it hasn't.
Terrible.
Yeah. Maybe it's been converted and she hasn't got any coal. Oh, that would be just as bad.
Yes, it would.
Or maybe she's got coal and doesn't know how to start the furnace.
Uh-huh.
All alone there with no man in the house.
Yes.
You know what she ought to have?
Yes. A man.
No, some firewood. Maybe I ought to call up and order her some, huh?
Don't you think you ought to find out whether she's got any first?
Oh, that's a great idea, Marjorie. I'll go over there myself and find out. Thanks for the tip.
No, don't thank me. You were going anyway.
Where's my overcoat? Oh, here it is, right in the closet.
Button up tight now.
You know, I think I'll take her a few sticks of firewood just in case. I'll take these logs Leroy brought in.
There goes our fire.
Oh, my hat. Put it on my head, will you, my dear?
She likes you better in your air raid helmet.
I'll have the hat if you don't mind. You don't have to put it on at such a rakish angle. Put it on straight.
Oh, you look sweet that way. There you are. I'll open the door for you.
Thank you, my dear. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go.
Hey, Unc!
The horse knows the way to carry the sleigh through the white and drifting snow.
Hey, Mark, where's he going?
He's going next door to warm up Mrs. Ransom.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few seconds. Meantime, plenty of energy is mighty important these busy wartime days. For hard work, yes, and for hard play. Of course, energy comes from the foods you eat, so it's important that you know which foods provide the most energy. Now, one of the very best energy foods you can serve, and one that's economical too, is delicious Parquet margarine made by Kraft. That's a good thing because Parquet margarine is a 3 times a day source of important food energy. Parquet is a grand tasting spread for bread, rolls, or toast, at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's a real flavor shortening for baking better tasting pastries, cakes, and cookies. Parquet is grand for pan frying, too, because it doesn't spatter or stick to the pan. And besides furnishing energy, every pound of Parquet margarine provides 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So why not give delicious, economical Parquet margarine a try in your household? Remember, it's Parquet, Parkay, Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's get back to the great Gildersleeve. Like an angel of mercy with an armload of wood, he trudges up the walk to the Widow Ransom's door, where whom should he meet but Hooker.
Gildersleeve, what mischief are you up to?
The same mischief you're up to, Horace.
I merely came over to make sure Mrs. Ransom has enough heat.
Yeah, so did I, and I've got some logs here to prove it.
I brought her a hot water bottle, so there.
Why don't you just go home, Judge? I'll take care of this.
Oh, no, you won't.
Why, Horace.
It's Horace.
Good morning.
And Throckmorton. Aren't you sweet to call? Come in, won't you?
After you, Throckmorton.
You said it.
Step inside so I can shut out that dreadful wind. Won't you let me take your things, gentlemen?
Allow me to hang them up.
Oh, thank you, Judge. Why, Throckmorton, what's this you brought me?
Wood for your fireplace.
For my fireplace, I declare you're the most thoughtful man.
I brought you something, too, Mrs. Ransom. It's in one of my pockets here.
Yeah, the judge brought a hot water bottle in case his gout gets bad.
Well,
Hot water bottle, nothing. Blackberry cordial.
Huh?
Blackberry cordial. Oh, I just love it. It's my favorite.
You sneaky old...
How did you know it was my favorite?
You didn't say anything about that.
Why, I haven't had any blackberry cordial since I left home. Come in by the fireplace, won't you? I've been trying to start a poor little old fire here, but all I had was newspapers, and I don't know a thing about fire.
Don't you worry, Mrs. Ransom. We'll soon have it blazing for you. Let's have those logs, Gildy.
Wait a minute. They're my logs.
No, Horace gets to lay the fire because he brought the cordial.
Oh.
I declare I don't know what I'd do without you boys, because I'm just about frozen to death here. I haven't any furnace. I haven't any coal.
You haven't any coal?
No, I just never thought to order any, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to come over to my house. You're going to have lunch and dinner with us and spend the night. If Margie will put you up.
Oh, Throckmorton, you're so masterful.
Oh, am I?
Well, I hope you have a good time, Leila.
Yes, she will.
It's been some time since I've enjoyed a sample of Bertie's cooking.
Yes.
She's a fine cook.
You're wasting your breath, Hooker.
Of course, I haven't got any heat in my house either. But I dare say I'll get along.
Yeah, I dare say you will.
Oh, you poor thing. Throckmorton, did you hear that? The judge hasn't any heat in his house either.
That's a shame.
I know. Let's make it a house party, shall we? Oh, how about it, Judge?
All right with me if it's all right with Gildy.
Oh, he'd love to have you. I know he would. Just the three of us. We can have more fun.
Oh, fudge.
Fudge. We'll make fudge.
And full taffy.
Wonderful. Throckmorton, you think of the best party.
Yes, don't I? All right, Hooker, you can come to lunch, but that's all.
Snow. I declare I just love it to death. I've had the most glorious afternoon.
Yeah, me too.
You know, this is the first snow I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
By golly, I love it too. Makes me feel like a kid again.
Yeah. Oh, brother. Hop on the sled, Leela, and I'll pull you.
Oh, no, I'm too heavy. You couldn't pull me.
Yeah, I can pull you with one finger. Come on, hop on.
Well, don't strain yourself now.
Yeah, that's right. Now put up your little feet. Not you, Hooker. Come on, Hooker, get off of there.
Now, boys, I don't want you to get to fighting over me. And whatever you do, don't anybody try to wash my face with snow.
Huh?
I just couldn't stand it if you were to wash my face with snow.
By George, I've got half a notion to try.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, no. Come on, Judge. You hold her and I'll wash her face.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'll hold her and you wash her face.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will.
Oh, no.
You'll have to catch me first.
Yeah. Come on, Judge. Get after her.
Yes.
Now,
Come on, chase her, Gildy. I'll have her off before she gets out of the yard.
Yeah. Look out, Judge. Hey, that hole. Oh, no.
What happened? Where's the judge?
He fell in Clanahan's hole.
Get me out of this. Get me out of this. I'm freezing to death.
Give me your hand, Judge.
Spread water, Judge. Spread water.
He doesn't have to. He's standing in mud. Come on, Judge. Jump. There. Oh, it's cold.
Oh, Judge, you're just a mess. Now you better run right in the house before you catch your death.
Yes, come on in. Are you all right, Judge?
I'm not saying Gildersleeve till I see my lawyer.
Poor Judge fell in a hole.
Oh, stop your whining, you old goat.
Throckmorton. Now, Judge, you just lie in front of the fire till you get warm.
He's been lying there for hours. When's he going home?
Right now. Ooh, my ankle.
Huh?
Oh, I'm afraid I've done something to it.
Oh, so it's your ankle now, is it?
Yeah, I can't stand on it. Ooh.
Oh, you poor child.
Oh, the poor widow fellow.
Witchy, 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 witchy.
Oh, well, maybe that's the drugstore with the camp oil. I'll go.
Hooker, you're an old fake. There's nothing the matter with your ankle, and you know it.
What are you going to do about it, Gildy?
Good evening, Mrs. Ransom.
You brought the calf oil?
Yes, I trust you're not feeling indisposed.
Oh, no, it's for Judge Hooker here. He fell in a hole.
I'm sorry to hear that, Judge. How did it happen?
I was chasing. Never mind.
Hello, Peavy.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Peavy, now the judge thinks there's something wrong with his ankle. I'd like to have you take a look at it and give us your expert opinion.
Ankle, eh?
Yes, it has all the earmarks of a fracture.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, in other words, you think it's all right.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that either.
Well, what would you say? Would you say it's sprained?
Well, you put me in a difficult position, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'm not a physician, you know. I'm a pharmacist.
All right. You've got a license, haven't you?
Well, I'm a notary public.
That's better than nothing, isn't it?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. You got me a little mixed up.
All right, then forget the license. Just answer me yes or no. Is there anything wrong with the judge's ankle or isn't there?
Well, if you want to know...
Remember, Mr. Peavy, anything you say may be used against you.
Well...
Come on, Peavy. I'm just asking for your frank opinion, man to man. You are a man, aren't you?
Well, now, I would...
Neither would I. Good night, Peavy. All right, Hooker, you can stay to dinner, but that's all.
My goodness gracious, 11 o'clock.
11? Oh, shank of the evening, Leela. Why, Marjorie isn't even in yet.
I must get my beauty sleep.
You couldn't be any more beautiful than you are, Leela.
That's true, Judge, but brother, is it corny?
Now, Throckmorton.
Huh?
But I really should be starting for my little old trundle bed.
Yeah, so should Hooker. Oh, I think I hear Marjorie outside. Shut the door, my dear.
Well, Marjorie, did you have a good time?
Oh, wonderful. An old-fashioned sleigh ride in October. Certainly has put roses in your cheeks.
Yes, my dear. You look pretty enough to kiss. In fact, you look as if you had been.
Oh, well, the Lord, what sharp eyes you have.
Yeah?
Well, I've got an early day tomorrow, so if you don't mind, I'll say good night. Good night, Judge.
Good night, Marjorie.
Good night, Mrs. Ransom.
Good night, honey child.
Good night, Uncle Morris.
Good night, my dear. Sorry I can't drive you home, Judge, but I put my car up on blocks.
That's all right, Gildy. I'll get home somehow.
Oh, now you can't go home tonight with that ankle. Throckmorton, you'll have to let Judge Hooker sleep in your den or someplace.
What?
Thanks, Gildy. Awfully sorry to put you out, old man.
Well, I should be starting to bed. Could you show me my room, Throckmorton?
Could I? Let me have your satchel.
Thank you. Good night, Judge. Oh, don't get up. I do hope your ankle will be much better in the morning.
Oh, I hope it will.
You know darn well it will.
Good night, Leela.
Good night. My, seems strange walking up these stairs with you, Throckmorton.
Does it, Leela? Seems to me very natural.
Really, Throckmorton? What do you mean by that?
How else would we get up there? Here's my room, Leela. I mean, your room.
Oh, what a nice room.
Yes, I put the bath towels here, and here's an extra pillow, and here's a nice warm quilt, and then in case it really gets chilly,
What?
I put an electric heating pad in your bed.
Well, that's just the sweetest thing I ever heard of.
If there's anything else you need...
Oh, I've got everything in my little bag, thank you.
Oh, well, then, good night, Leela.
Good night, Throckmorton.
Sure you don't want me to tuck you in?
Why, Throckmorton, you devil, you.
Yeah, I was only joking, of course. Good night, Leela. Oh, me. What an angel. I hope I dream about her tonight. All right, Hooker, let's get to bed. You take this couch, and I'll take the leather one. Is this enough blankets for you?
I suppose so.
Well, then, good night. And please do me a favor.
What's that?
Don't snore.
I never do. Don't you lock the house up, Gildy?
I have.
I always go over it before I go to bed to make sure.
Yeah? Well, you're a nervous old woman, you old goat.
I am not. But I know there's such a thing as burglars because I send half a dozen of them to jail every week.
Burglars? Just the idea. Can I turn the light out now?
Anytime.
Well, all right.
Oh, Gildy.
What is it?
Aren't you going to tuck me in?
Oh! I'll break your other ankle, Hooker. Now get to bed. Just the idea. Old goat. Oh, isn't that awful? Snoring already. Listen to that. What's that? Hooker's got me imagining things. Ooh, it's probably in the cellar. Oh, my goodness, there's nobody in the cellar. Come on, Gildy, you got to be a hero. You got to go down there and face it. Oh, by gosh, it is a burglar, all right. He's trying to get in that cellar window, right over there by the furnace. But I'm ready for him. When he comes through, I'll hit him with his poker. Aesop, quiet. Shh, quiet, cat. Aesop, go away. Shh. Oh, here he comes.
Oh! Landslide! Help, Burger! What's going on here? Oh! You wasn't cold, didn't you?
Clanahan!
You've been after me all day. You and the whole town. Well, here's your coal. You can dig yourself out in the morning.
There's something I'd like to say to all our listeners. We were lucky here in Summerfield. We had an early cold snap before the real winter set in to remind us to get ready for it while there's still time. Now, you've heard that there's going to be a shortage of fuel oil this winter, and you've probably also heard people say that there's nothing to it but a lot of talk. Well, I got the dope from the government, and this is it. 95% of the fuel oil consumed in the East used to be shipped by tanker. Now we have to ship our oil by rail. It takes 280 tank cars to carry as much oil as one ship, so you figure it out for yourself. We haven't got enough tank cars to carry all the oil where it's needed, or anywhere near all. There's no shortage of oil. It's a shortage of transportation. That's why the government is telling you to convert your furnace to coal if you can. They're just trying to keep us warm, folks. And if we got any sense, we'll get going right now and do what they're telling us. Have our heating plants checked, insulate our houses, put on weather strips, anything that'll save fuel. If you haven't got the cash for it, you can borrow it from the FHA. It's really an investment, not only in improving your house and keeping your family comfortable and healthy, but you'll get some of it back in savings on your fuel bill. And you'll know that you're doing something to help our Army and Navy win this war. If that doesn't give you enough of a glow to keep you warm throughout the winter, remember, it's going to be a heck of a lot colder in Russia. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by Billy Mills. This is Frank Bingman speaking for the makers of Parquet Margarine and inviting you to tune in again next week for the further adventures of the great Gildersleeve. Some foods may be getting scarce these days, but good wholesome cheese and other dairy foods are plentiful. And just think of the tasty, satisfying main dinner dishes they'll help you make. Macaroni dishes, rarebits, soufflés, sandwiches, fish and egg dishes with cheese sauce. Yes, and dozens more. With cheese dishes becoming so important in your menus, you should know about Pabst-Step. Yes, Pabst-Step, the delicious golden cheese food of 100 different uses. Pabst-Step is a very special cheese food in many ways. Pabst-Step slices so neatly, spreads so easily, it's grand for sandwiches or snacks. Pabst-Step melts and blends so smoothly you'll prefer it for cheese sauces, all kinds of cooked cheese dishes. Pabst-Step is nourishing, too. It's a fine energy food, rich in milk nutrients and easy to digest. So stock up on Pabst-Step now. Your food dealer has it in the distinctive round, flat package. Remember, it's Pabst-Step, Pabst-ETT. Pabst-Step, the delicious golden cheese food of 100 uses. This program reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve.
Yeah.
The Kraft Cheese Company, who also bring you Bing Crosby every Thursday night, present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Wheaton. We'll hear from The Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. Likely as not, you've all heard and read a lot about margarine lately. You see, margarine is a wholesome spread for bread our government recommends in our National Nutrition Program. But if you haven't tried margarine for the last few years, you'll certainly be pleasantly surprised when you taste Parquet margarine, the delicious vegetable margarine that's made by Kraft. Parquet margarine is made to the same high standards of flavor and quality as Kraft's other famous food products. Parquet's flavor is so delicate and appetizing you'll be proud to use it as a spread for bread, a flavor shortening for baking, and for pan frying, too. Just try it once and see if you don't agree that Parquet margarine's delightful, satisfying flavor is just bound to please. And another thing, Parquet margarine provides important nutritional elements, vitamin A, and food energy we need every day. So don't just ask your food dealer for margarine, ask for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's join our friend, the Great Gildersleeve, who has been carrying on a feud recently with the Water Department. 2 weeks ago, he got up a petition complaining about the water pressure. But all the action he got out of Commissioner Clanahan was a large hole dug in his front yard, which has been there ever since. This morning, we find him at the barber shop where he's gone to carry his fight to the people, while Floyd takes a little off the sides.
Yes, sir? I told him, Clanahan, I'll give you exactly 24 hours. I said, either you get that hole fixed up, I said, or I don't pay my water bill.
That's telling him. What did he say?
He said, you don't pay your bill and I'll turn off your water.
That's telling him. What did you say?
I said, the pressure's so low now that I wouldn't know the difference. I said, go ahead and turn it off.
That's telling him. What did he do then?
He turned it off.
Yeah, that'll fix him.
Yeah, but what am I going to do for water?
Oh, come in, Mr. Peavy. You're next.
Oh, I see you're busy, Floyd. I can come back.
No. I'm just finishing up with Mr. Gildersleeve here. Won't be a minute. Sit down. Take a load off your feet.
Well, good morning, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello, Peavy. How's the drug business?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Gildersleeve, it's been a little slow. But then it always was. I guess I can't complain.
Well, that cold spell we had last week must have boomed things for you.
Well, now, I wouldn't say that.
Well, there were a lot of colds. People all over town coughing and sneezing.
Yes, there were. And we did have a little flurry in cold remedies. But then the soda fountain fell off.
Well, things are bad all over.
Yeah, what's the use? Government's going to take everything we make, over $25,000 a year anyway. Now, I'm not going to kill myself.
Yes.
Would you like a little something on it, Mr. Gildersleeve?
What do you got, Floyd?
Oh, you know, Wild Root, Lucky Tiger, Ed Penard's. Got them all. I got a new one, too. Roses of Picardy.
Roses of Picardy. That sounds nice.
Yeah, smell it.
Give me a little of that.
I put some on Mr. Peavy the other day, and he had a lot of nice comment on it, didn't you, Mr. Peavy?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. The time you put that on me, Mrs. Peavy made me sleep in the guest room.
You might have told me before he got it on me, Peavy.
Gentlemen.
Oh, morning, Judge.
Good morning, Judge Hooker.
Hello, Floyd. Peavy. Well, Gildy, I suppose you're feeling pretty good.
Pretty good about what?
About Clanahan.
The way I feel about Clanahan, I could be arrested.
Well, don't tell me you haven't heard.
Heard what?
Clanahan's quit.
He quit?
Yep. He turned in his resignation last night. So the town is now without a water commissioner.
It was without a water commissioner before Clanahan quit, too.
You're right, Gildy, and you deserve all the credit for getting rid of it.
Well, now, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, yes, you do. You got up the petition. Of course, I outlined it.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, yes, I did. But I don't want any credit for that.
No, I can see that.
I signed it, remember?
So did I.
We all did. But our friend Gildersleeve here is the one who circulated it. He gets the credit.
Of course, you know who they're talking about for water commissioner now, don't you, Gildy?
No, who?
Oh, come on, don't be modest.
What do you mean?
Use your head, Gildy. Who is the obvious man for the job? Why, of course. It isn't official yet, so I wouldn't say anything about it, but the town council's meeting tomorrow afternoon, and they tell me it's just a formality.
But, Judge, I don't even know that I'd want the job. I mean, I haven't even thought about it. I mean, Floyd, get this thing off of me.
Hey, wait a minute. Aren't you going to...
I haven't got time. Here's $1. Keep the change. Ooh, where's my coat?
What's your hurry, Commissioner?
Holy smokes. He never tipped me more than 15 cents before.
You know, some people will believe anything.
What do you mean, Judge?
Yep. You can fool some of the people some of the time, and you can fool some of the people all of the time. But Gildersleeve fools himself.
You mean Mr. Gildersleeve isn't going to be water commissioner?
Well, don't tell me you fell for it too, Peavy.
Yeah. Some people will believe anything.
But I think Mr. Gildersleeve would make a very good commissioner.
What's that got to do with it? This is politics. What do you think Clanahan resigned for?
Well, he has his coal business and the hay, grain, and feed.
And the hardware and half his brother's plumbing business.
Yes, and he also has a son-in-law that he's sick of supporting.
Yeah, Harry Holdsapple.
You watch. Day after tomorrow, Harry Holdsapple will be water commissioner.
Marjorie! Leroy!
What is it, Uncle Mort? What is it?
Nothing, my dear. It's nothing, really.
But you've been running.
Not particularly. Be calm, my dear.
I am calm. What is it?
Sit down.
You better sit down, too.
Oh, I'm quite all right. I think I will sit down, though. Now, tell me, my dear, what have you been doing with yourself all morning?
Uncle Mort, what is it?
Oh, that. Well, Marjorie, I have a little piece of news for you. You and Leroy, where is he?
Oh, he'll be back in a minute. Now, what's the news?
Well, it isn't official yet, but Judge Hooker says it's practically in the bag.
What? What is?
Marjorie, how would you like it if your old uncle were commissioner of the waterworks?
Commissioner? You mean...
Uh-huh.
Wonderful. Uncle Mort, that's wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's not as wonderful as all that.
Oh, yes, it is, and you deserve it. You did the whole thing yourself. Oh, Uncle Mort, I'm so proud of you.
Well, public service has its compensations, I see.
Leroy, come here, quick.
What's up, Marge? Oh, you back, Unc?
Leroy, Uncle Mort's going to be water commissioner.
Yeah.
Well, Leroy, did you hear me? Uncle Mort's going to be water commissioner.
What does it pay?
Leroy.
I haven't the faintest idea what it pays, young man, and furthermore, I don't care. I've been asked to serve the community, and I intend to serve it to the best of my ability. I wonder what it does pay.
Miss Marjorie.
Oh, Bertie, come here.
I'm coming. Yes?
Bertie, guess what?
Oh, I'm no good at guessing.
Uncle Mort's going to be water commissioner.
My goodness. If I'd known that, I'd have baked the cake.
It's not too late yet, Bertie.
Oh, you're going to have to do a lot of things, Bertie. When you answer the phone, you're going to have to say, Commissioner Gildersleeve's house.
Excuse me, Miss Marjorie. Resident.
Oh, resident.
Yeah.
And we must see that the laundry puts more starch in his collars.
Wait a minute. I can't stand stiff collars.
That makes no difference. You're an important man now, and you've got to dress the part. You can't wear that baggy old suit another day.
But this is my best suit.
It's your only suit.
Well, I can't wear more than one suit at a time.
I know, but you shouldn't have to go to bed every time you have it pressed. You're going to be a busy man.
You're right there, my dear.
You don't want people saying, there goes Mr. Gildersleeve, the worst-dressed water commissioner in town.
No, but the well-dressed man today isn't the man with pleats in his pants. It's the man with shiny elbows.
In another few weeks, you aren't even going to have elbows.
I
think you ought to go out and buy a new suit, Uncle Mort.
Oh, maybe you're right, my dear, but it'll have to be for the duration.
And another thing, you ought to have a decent photograph taken for the Indicator Vindicator.
Oh, what would they want with a photograph of me? Do you think I ought to have a profile or a full face?
How about a panorama, Unc?
Very good, Leroy, very good. A little fresh, but we're overlooking things today.
Oh, come on, Uncle Mort. We've got a million things to do. Let's get started.
Wait a minute. There's one thing first. Remember, all of you, this is not official yet. So not a word to anybody. Bertie?
Oh, not a word.
Marjorie?
Not a word.
Not a word.
Yes, okay.
Now, just slip this jacket on for size. Will you, Commissioner?
Commissioner? Oh, well, of course, that isn't for publication yet. Oh, this isn't the kind of suit I had in mind. I thought maybe something like a cutaway. Something more official.
No, I'm sorry, but cutaways are out. Government regulation.
Nobody wears cutaways anymore anyway, Uncle Mort.
The young lady's right. I personally wouldn't be caught dead in one.
Yes, well, how about something double-breasted, huh? Dark blue, maybe, with a pinstripe.
Oh, I'm sorry, but double-breasteds are out, too. The regulations.
Oh. Well, just run me up a nice loincloth. Oh, wait a minute. There's a nice piece of material. I like that one. Let me try that one on.
Uncle Mort, that's yours. That's the one you wore in here.
Is it? I always did like this suit. I think I'll stick to it. Goodbye.
Oh, goodbye, Commissioner.
Look pleasant, please, Commissioner.
Commissioner. Well, I'm getting kind of used to it.
Look this way, please. No, a little more the other way. No, now a little more this way.
Uncle Mort, you're looking cross-eyed.
How can I help it? I'm looking 6 different ways at once.
We must try to be a little patient. Now raise your chin just a teensy bit.
A chin? Which one?
That's better. Now hold it like that while I fix this light.
Hurry up, will you? My nose is itching.
There. Now give me a nice big smile.
Never mind the smile. Take your picture.
Hold it. Oh, it's a beauty. You'll want a dozen for your friends. Thank you, Commissioner.
Oh, Uncle Mort, there's something else you ought to have.
What?
There in the window.
In the window? What would I do with a girdle? Don't answer that.
Oh, not that window. This one. See? The briefcase.
I don't need a briefcase.
Oh, but you will. You're going to have lots of important papers.
Say, I guess that's right, Marjorie. I'd better... good morning, Mrs. Ransom.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, what a small world. Why, only this morning I was trying to call you.
Oh, were you indeed?
Yes, Oh, hello, Marjorie.
Hello.
I was planning to invite you to dinner tonight. I'm having fried chicken.
Oh, my. I'd love to, Mrs. Ransom. I'd love to, but... Unfortunately, my time is not my own these days.
I'm having candied yams.
Oh, brother. No, I'm sorry, Leela. Pressure of official business, you know.
Oh. Well, I think I'll just run in here for a minute, Uncle Mort. Will you excuse me, Mrs. Ransom?
Certainly, darling.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
Well, Throckmorton, if you're so frightfully busy, I guess you shouldn't be wasting your time with me.
Oh, Leela, you don't understand. There's something I want to tell you, but I can't just yet.
Well, you can always confide in me, Throckmorton.
Oh, thank you, Leela. It has to do with a matter that's been uppermost in my mind for the last few weeks.
Well, I can't imagine what you're talking about, Throckmorton.
Well, I can tell you this much. An important decision is going to be made tomorrow that may affect my whole future.
I can't imagine what that would be.
Well, I'll give you a little hint. Think of water.
Water?
Uh-huh. Lots and lots of water. Thousands of gallons a minute. Do you begin to understand?
I think I do. Will you and I be there?
You and I? Where?
Niagara Falls.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few seconds. If you're up on your nutrition ABCs, you know how important vitamin A and food energy are. Yes, we all need food energy and vitamin A. They're both mighty essential to good nutrition. So you'll be glad to know that an economical source of both these food elements is delicious Parquet margarine, the wholesome spread for bread that's made by Kraft. Yes, Parquet margarine is one of the very best energy foods you can serve. And throughout the year, every pound of Parquet margarine contains 9,000 units of vitamin A, making it one of the most reliable year-round food sources of this important vitamin. Besides, in flavor and texture, Parquet is entirely different from old-time margarines. You'll agree after one try that Parquet is the margarine that tastes so deliciously good. So tomorrow, sure, ask your food dealer for a pound or two of Parquet. Parkay. Parquet margarine, the nourishing, economical spread for bread made by Kraft. And now let's get back to the great Gildersleeve. After a sleepless night and a morning spent at the library reading up on waterworks, he approaches the eve of his expected triumph in a spirit of humble dedication to service. With the special meeting of the town council only an hour off, he's preparing a statement for the Indicator Vindicator.
Read that back to me, will you, my dear? That last.
When interviewed, Mr. Gildersleeve said, "This honor comes to me as a complete surprise."
Yes. That I am prepared to say at this time that I propose to give to this community...
Yes?
What was I going to give it? Oh, yes. A clean administration, clean management, and clean...
Clean water.
Clean water. Have you got that, Marjorie?
Yes, go ahead.
After a preliminary survey, I feel that I can say without fear of contradiction that no city, town, village, or hamlet from Maine to California can boast of finer, healthier, more nutritious tap water than Summerfield's. Let's keep it that way.
Good. Now, we've got to hurry this down there if we want to catch the paper before it goes to press.
I'll take it. I'll go on my bicycle. Give it to me.
Oh, wait till I address the envelope.
Don't forget to put the photograph in. Here. Which one do you like best?
They're all terrible.
I don't know. I don't think this one is bad.
It looks like Victor Mature with a mustache.
Well, perhaps there is a resemblance. I can't help that.
Hurry up and pick one, Unc. I've just about got time to get down there.
Oh, dear, I can't decide. I think it's between this one of me pounding my fist and the one where I'm pouring a glass of water. Maybe that's better for Water Commissioner, that little tie up there.
Too bad he didn't get you in the bathtub. Let's have it.
Remember, Leroy, see that it gets to the editor. Don't give it to anybody else. Insist on giving it to Mr. Powers.
Okay, Unc. Oh, sorry, Judge.
Where's the fire? Anybody home?
Oh, yes, come in, Judge.
Hello, Gildy. When are you going to get around to taking your screens off?
Gosh, I don't know, Judge. I've been pretty busy here lately. I guess I'm going to be a lot busier.
Doing what?
Well, Water Commissioner's no part-time job, you know.
Oh. As a matter of fact, Gildy, I wanted to speak to you about that.
Huh?
I wouldn't say too much about that if I were you.
Oh, I'm keeping it quiet. But I wanted you to know, Horace, that I'm grateful to you for what you did.
We all are, Judge.
Wait a minute now. I didn't do anything.
Oh, I know. You'll deny it, you old son of a gun. But somebody put in a good word for me with the town council, or I wouldn't have got this appointment.
Gildy.
All I want to say is, Judge, I hope I'll get a chance to do as much for you sometime.
It was sweet of you, Judge. It really was.
Oh, no.
Yes. We've had a lot of scraps together, Horace. When you come right down to it, well, I'd go to bat for you any time, and I know you would for me. You've proved that.
I wish you'd listen to me, both of you.
Just a minute. I'd like to show you something first. A little statement I got up for the Indicator Vindicator. You know, a sort of a speech of acceptance. I sent it down there with my photograph.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you make a carbon copy of that, Marjorie? I'd like to show it to the judge.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Leroy took the only copy down there.
You haven't sent it to the paper already.
Why, of course. So it would make tomorrow's edition at the same time as the announcement.
You got to stop him.
Why?
Yes, why?
I don't know how to say this, Gildy. I blame myself. I really do. But I wouldn't count on that appointment too much, old man.
Why not?
Because you don't stand a chance of getting it.
But you said yourself.
Why, you told him, Judge.
I know, and I could bite my tongue off for doing it, but I never thought you'd take it that seriously, Gildy.
You mean the whole thing was nothing but a joke?
I'm afraid that's about the size of it, Marjorie.
But I can't believe it. You wouldn't deliberately...
Gildy, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Well, if you'll excuse me, I guess I'll get at those screens. Excuse me.
Judge Hooker?
Don't say it, Marjorie.
You can't do that to my uncle.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm a mean old man, and I hate myself. Believe me, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have had it happen for the world.
Well, you're going to do something about it. Have you got your car here?
Right outside.
We've got to stop Leroy before he gets to the paper with that statement, or the whole town will be laughing.
All right, come on.
Can't you go any faster, Judge?
I'm going 35. We're almost there. Right down the block.
There's Leroy.
Ooh, my rubber.
Leroy! Leroy! Oh, we're too late. I know we are. Did you deliver it, Leroy?
Yeah, sure. I gave it to Mr. Powers himself.
Oh, dear.
Why, what's up?
Well, I can't explain now. I haven't got time, but hurry home, Leroy. Uncle Mort needs you. Judge, you wait right here.
Marjorie, where are you going?
I'm going in to see the editor.
I'll come with you.
No, you won't. You've done enough.
All right, Marjorie. Just as you say.
Where's Mr. Powers' office, please? Right straight ahead.
Well, come in.
You're Mr. Powers, aren't you?
That's right.
I'm Mr. Gildersleeve's niece. And go ahead and laugh.
Oh, now, sit down. Take it easy.
Oh, I know it all seems very funny to you. Have you read it?
Yes, I've read it.
Well, I won't try to explain how it happened, Mr. Powers. It was a mistake, and I guess it seems pretty silly to you. But my uncle doesn't know very much about newspapers, and neither do I.
Hmm?
He was just trying to do the right thing. You see, somebody told him he was going to be appointed water commissioner.
Well, I thought nobody wanted it but Harry Holtzapfel.
Harry Holtzapfel. That's just what's wrong with this town. It's full of Harry Holtzappels. There aren't enough people in it like Uncle Mort. They're all trying to figure what they can get out of it instead of what they can put into it.
Maybe you're right.
And I'll tell you this about my uncle. He's a good guy, and he really would make the best water commissioner Summerfield ever had. Because it means a lot to him, and the town does, and he's interested in it, and he studies about it, and he just...
Now, wait a minute.
And another thing. Do you know he got up a petition all by himself?
I know all about that. Gildersleeve's a good man.
Of course he is. And I'll tell you something else
now,
about
wait, young lady. You don't want to tell me. You want to tell the town council.
Oh, I just wish I could.
Well, they're meeting over at Town Hall right now.
But they'd never let me in.
Well, they'll let me in. Power of the press. Well, come on, I'll get my hat.
Leroy, when I think of the countless errands I've sent you on, and how few of them you managed to complete successfully. Why did you have to deliver the goods this time?
Gosh, I only did what you told me.
I know, but you ought to warn me when you're going to do things like that. Oh, how can I face these people? How can I face Mrs. Ransom? How can I even face Peavy? What am I going to do?
Well, you could always join the Foreign Legion.
This is no time for quips and sallies, young man.
Well, you asked me.
Yeah, but I know what I could do. I could join the Army.
Are you kidding?
Not a bit. Service of my country, the uniform, they couldn't laugh at that.
No, I couldn't.
Why, George, I'll do it. I look like $1 million in that uniform in 1917.
You look like $10 million now, Unc.
Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Lieutenant.
Oh, sorry, Lieutenant. Is this where you join the Army?
Well, that depends. Is this for yourself or for a friend?
Myself. I want to enlist for immediate duty overseas.
Oh, want to see the world, huh? Why don't you try the Navy?
Oh, Lieutenant.
I'm a captain.
Pardon me. I've been recommended to the Navy, Captain. I'd like to join up.
I see. How tall are you, mister?
5 feet 8.5.
And your weight?
230.
Gross or net?
That's in my shorts.
Who recommended you to the Navy, mister?
The Army.
Oh, they did, eh? Well, why don't you go tell it to the Marines?
Oh, General.
I'm just a sergeant, Bud. What's on your mind?
I'm thinking of joining the Marine Corps. I want to see some active service.
What gave you that idea?
Well, it's a long story. My nephew suggested the Army, but the Army suggested the Navy, and the Navy suggested the Marines.
I see.
How about it? Do you think you could consider me?
I'm afraid not, Bud, but I'll tell you what we will do.
What?
We'll consider the nephew.
Oh!
Not so good, huh?
5F.
5F? What's that?
Flat feet, fat, flabby, and 44.
Oh, well, you don't want to feel badly about it. You tried.
Yeah. You know, Leroy, I don't suppose any man ever thinks of himself as old, even when he's 80. But I realize it today for the first time. I'm old.
Oh, you're not old, Dunk. You've got a lot of good mileage left yet.
They don't want men like me, Leroy. It's the 18 and 19-year-olds. They've got the courage and the pep and the endurance. It's a young man's war in a young man's world. I ought to turn myself in for scrap.
Oh, now don't talk like that, Unc. I know. How would you like to go to the movies? There's a swell bill at the Majestic.
No, what's playing?
Eagle Squadron and the Battle of Midway.
You go, Leroy.
I don't want to go, Unc. I'd rather stay here with you.
Mr. Gildersleeve, I made some of that special coffee cake you like. Could I give you some?
No, not just now. Thank you, Bertie.
It's hot right out of the oven.
You might leave it, Bertie. Perhaps Leroy would like a piece.
No, thanks.
Leroy, what's the matter with your uncle? What's the matter with you?
Nothing, Bertie. Everything's fine.
I don't know what's come over everybody in this house. Can't sell no coffee cake. You know what I think, Mr. Gildersleeve?
What?
I think you're worrying too much. I think it's that waterworks. You ought to give it up.
Bertie. Bertie, go bake a cake.
Doggone, I don't know. Things are sure different around here. They ain't the same.
Oh, there's Marjorie.
Leroy, don't say anything to her about the Army.
Okay.
Uncle Mort.
In here, my dear.
This way, Mr. Powers. Uncle Mort, you know Mr. Powers of the Indicator.
Oh, yes.
I just came over to congratulate you, Commissioner.
Yeah, Commissioner.
And to thank you for that little statement you sent us.
Oh, that.
I don't think Uncle Mort understands.
We've just come from the town.
You tell him.
We've just been to the meeting of the town council, and I'm delighted to report that your appointment went through without a single dissenting vote.
You mean that I'm...
He's water commissioner?
Yes! Uncle Mort, I'm so glad.
Water commissioner. Commissioner of the waterworks. I don't mind telling you, Mr. Powers, this means a lot to me.
It means a lot to Summerfield. And I want you to know that the Indicator is back of you 100%.
Oh, thank you. Have some coffee cake. Have a glass of water.
Well, don't care if I do.
Water, Commissioner. Wait till Judge Hooker hears about this. The old goat. He wasn't so far wrong at that. You know, he said I was the obvious man for the job.
Oh, you were?
Well, you think so, too?
Certainly. The only other candidate had just been drafted.
You've had a pretty big day. I really think you ought to go to bed now.
You're right, my dear. I guess I'll take my book to bed with me.
What is that book anyway, Unc?
The Lives of the Presidents.
The Lives of the Presidents? What are you reading that for?
I just wanted to confirm an impression. I have a distinct recollection that in 1874, William McKinley was water commissioner of Buffalo. Good night, everybody.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by Billy Mills. This is Frank Bingman speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
What could be more satisfying for the main dish of an autumn meal than that hearty old favorite macaroni and cheese? Yes, tender macaroni drenched in cheese goodness. It's filling, nutritious, and easy to make if you use Pabstet, the delicious golden cheese food of 100 different uses. You see, Pabstet is just right for cooked cheese dishes because it melts so smoothly and blends right in with other foods. Pabstet is equally useful for sandwiches and snacks because it slices and spreads so easily. And besides being full of luscious cheese goodness, Pabstet helps provide important food values for your meals. Food energy, milk protein, the milk minerals, calcium and phosphorus, vitamin A, Pabstet has them all. You'll find hundreds of ways to use Pabstet for nourishing, time-saving meals. So serve it often. Your food dealer has it in the handy round, flat package. Just ask for Pabstet, Pabst-ETT. Pabstet, the delicious golden cheese food of 100 uses. This program reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve.
Yeah.
The Kraft Cheese Company, who also bring you Bing Crosby every Thursday night, present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Whedon. We'll hear from The Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. I'm sure you've all noticed how everybody has pitched in since last December 7th, working harder than ever before. No, it didn't take us Americans long to see we had to work to win. Yes, and hard work burns up lots of energy that has to be replaced by the food we eat. So I'm sure you'll want to know about a wholesome energy food that your family is sure to like. That food is delicious Parquet margarine, the economical spread for bread made by Kraft, and it's one of the best energy foods you can serve. What's more, Parquet is a reliable year-round source of important vitamin A. Yes, Parquet margarine is mighty good for you, and you'll find it's mighty good tasting, too. Parquet is the margarine that tastes so deliciously good you'll really want to serve it. So tomorrow, ask your dealer for a pound or two of Parquet, Parkay. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. And now let's join our friend, the great Gildersleeve, who stands this morning on the threshold of a new career. He comes down to breakfast with a spring in his step and a light in his eye. For this is the day of his inauguration as Water Commissioner of Summerfield.
Ready now. Here he comes. And don't forget to bow. Good morning, Commissioner.
Oh, good morning, slaves. Marjorie, Leroy. Good morning, one and all.
Leroy, pull out the commissioner's chair for him.
Sure. Right this way, Commissioner.
Thank you, my boy.
Won't you sit down?
No tricks now.
No, sir.
Well, there we are. What's this in front of my place? A nosegay?
For your buttonhole.
Oh, that was sweet of you, my dear. Or did Leroy pick these posies?
Are you kidding?
You better start right in, Uncle Mort. Bertie's making waffles.
Waffles?
Yes, sir. Coming right up.
Oh, Bertie, you're psychic.
Yes, I think I must be. The things that go on.
What things, Bertie?
Well, I dreamt a dream last night, Mr. Gildersleeve, and I sure wish you'd explain it.
What was it, Bertie?
Well, I dreamt there was a globe of the world, and then I saw Mr. Wilkie running around it like mad.
Well, you've been reading the newspapers. Go on.
And then I saw Miss Roosevelt, and she was running around the world, too.
Yeah? What is it you don't understand, Bertie?
Who is trying to catch who?
Oh, Bertie. You're going to let the international situation ruin those waffles?
Oh, my goodness.
I spent a very interesting and profitable evening myself last night, children.
How?
Well, to prepare for my new post as water commissioner, I took the encyclopedia to bed with me. And do you know, I found some things in there I never even knew before.
Oh, you probably just forgot them, Unc.
What were you looking up, Uncle Mort?
Water. Do you know, Marjorie, that 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water?
Really? I think you better drink your orange juice, Uncle Mort. The waffles are waiting.
Yes, sir. 3/4 of the Earth's surface, water. What do you think of that?
Too much water.
There's no such thing as too much water. Water is very important. Did you ever stop to think, young man, where Columbus would have been without water?
I don't know. Home in bed, I guess.
He'd have been high and dry, and you and I wouldn't be here today.
You won't get to the office today if you don't stop talking and eat, Commissioner.
Oh, you're right, my dear. Bertie, if those waffles are ready, I am.
Coming right up, Miss Gildersleeve.
Water, yes, water is very important. People don't appreciate water.
Here you are, Miss Gildersleeve.
Bertie, do you know what James Watt couldn't have invented the steam engine without?
No, sir.
Water.
Is that a fact?
Absolutely.
It's lucky they gave him some.
You know what I think, Commissioner? I think you got water on the brain.
All right, you can laugh, young man, but water is one of the most important things in the world. Now, you take Robert Fulton, invented the steamboat, 1807. Couldn't have done it without water. DeWitt Clinton, Erie Canal, 1825, water. Ponce de Leon, the Fountain of Youth, water. Balboa, the Pacific, water. The Monitor and the Merrimack, water. Bertie, bring me some more water.
Uncle Mort, I don't want to change the subject.
Yeah?
But can we have a weenie roast today?
Who's we?
Me and Piggy and the gang. We're going on a hike.
Well, I guess so, if it's all right with Bertie.
Gee, thanks, Unc.
You picked kind of a hot day for a hike, though, didn't you?
Well, we didn't know it was going to be so hot.
You'd never think it was the middle of October, would you?
Well, we usually get one late hot spell, my dear. And by the way, speaking of heat, do you know how many days a camel can go without water?
And speaking of water, Uncle Mort, do you know what time it is?
Oh, my goodness, I gotta be going. I can't be late the first day on the job.
Don't forget your flowers, Uncle Mort.
Huh?
Here, let me put them in your buttonhole.
Oh, thank you, my dear.
Oh, and your tie's crooked.
It is?
There. And what about your handkerchief?
Right in my pocket.
Oh, it should stick out a little.
Oh.
Now, you look more like a water commissioner.
Oh, thank you, my dear.
Well, you're all set, I guess. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Unc.
Thank you.
What is it? Have you forgotten something?
No, I was just wondering.
Wondering what?
What on earth does a water commissioner do?
Goodbye, Uncle Mort.
Yeah, goodbye, Marjorie.
Oh, Throckmorton.
Good morning, Mrs. Ransom.
Are you leaving so early?
As a matter of fact, I'm not early. I'm late.
Well, I won't keep you then. I just came over to wish you success.
Oh, thank you.
And to bring you a flower for your buttonhole. Oh, but I see you've already got one. I guess some other gal...
There's always room for one more. Flower, I mean.
Oh... Well, I brought you a bachelor's button because you're such a dyed-in-the-wool bachelor.
Well, I may be dyed in the wool, but I'm not dead yet. Yeah, I gotta go, Leela. I've gotta go.
Oh, wait a minute, Throckmorton. Let me put this flower in your buttonhole.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Leela,
Yes, Throckmorton.
did you know that a cubic foot of water weighs 62.5 pounds?
Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello, Peavy. I'm in a hurry. Gotta get down to the office. I'd like some cigars.
I guess we can fix you up, Mr. Gildersleeve. You want the usual, I suppose.
Yes, the perfectos. I'll take 3. How have you been?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Gildersleeve...
Not so good, eh? Well, I'll tell you what to do. You want to drink more water?
More water?
Yes, everybody ought to drink more water. Half the troubles of this world would be eliminated, Peavy, if people drank more water.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
It's true. You could take all those medicines you've got there and pour them down the sewer for all the good they'll do you. Water, that's the thing. You ought to drink 10 or 12 glasses of it every day.
Well, no, that's a lot of water.
Best thing in the world for you. I'll tell you something, Peavy. Do you know that the human body is 90% water?
Is that a fact?
Absolutely. 90% water.
Well, then I don't see why we should drink any more.
I haven't got time to argue with you, Peavy. Those are the facts. You can take them or leave them. How much is that? 30 cents?
And one is 31. Have you got a penny?
Yeah, that darn penny. No, I haven't.
I don't want to leave you with the impression that I have anything against water, Mr. Gildersleeve. I usually take some with every meal. So does Mrs. Peavy.
It's all right, all right. Give me my change. I'm late now.
You understand. It's just that I believe in moderation.
Peavy, you'll die of moderation.
Well, now, I wouldn't...
Goodbye, Peavy.
Goodbye, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Pardon me. Could you tell me where the office of the water department is?
Right down the hall. You see where that fellow's painting the name on the door?
Oh, yes. Much obliged. Oh, and it's my name, too. Name on the door and everything. Water Department, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve.
Talking to me, son?
No. I was just admiring your work.
Oh, well, it ain't art, maybe, but it's a living, sort of.
Yes, there's just one thing. I'm afraid you've made a slight error.
Maybe you could do it better.
Oh, no. I have no fault to find with your technique. It's the spelling. There's another E in Gildersleeve.
Well, don't tell me. This is the way she gave it to me.
But I happen
This is the way she gave it to me. I've got it on a piece of paper.
I got it on a piece of paper, too. My birth certificate.
I don't know about that, son. This is the way she spelled it. If you got any complaints, you'll have to take it up with her.
Her? Who's her?
Oh, old hatchet face inside. Yeah. Boy, I've met some bossy dames in my time. Even married one. But that old battle axe takes the marbles.
We'll soon see who's running this department. Can I get through here?
Don't smear it now.
Miss, madam.
I'll be with you in just a moment.
Oh, excuse me.
You'll find an application form there on the counter. Just fill it out.
But I don't want to...
I'm sorry, that's the rule. No service without an application.
You don't understand. My name is...
Name on the first line, please. Last name first, then first name and middle initial.
Look, is this the water department?
That's right. There'll be a deposit of $2, which will be deducted from your first month's bill.
My dear woman, do you see this door? Oh!
No, you went and spoiled it.
Sorry. You see that name? Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve? That's me.
Oh, won't you come in, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Thank you.
If you'll follow me, I'll show you to your office.
Well, nice little layout here. Small, but cozy.
I beg your pardon?
I said it was cozy.
Oh.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Miss Fitch.
Oh, how do you do, Miss Fitch?
I've been 33 years with the water department and never missed a day.
That's a shame. I think you ought to get a day off.
May I assure you of my every cooperation? If there's anything you want, please ring for me. I've cleared out the desk. You'll find a coat closet wash basin in there. The phone works on a buzzer. I go to lunch at 12:30.
Oh, Miss Fitch, just a moment.
Yes?
Who's the old geezer in the picture there?
He was Summerfield's first water commissioner.
Oh. Funny-looking old coot, wasn't he?
He happened to be my father.
You. I'm sorry. The picture probably didn't do him justice.
Well, it wasn't all that it might have been.
Miss Fitch.
Yes?
Don't leave me alone in here.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'm new here. I don't know the first thing about this. What do I do?
Do?
Yes. Now that I'm commissioner, shouldn't I be doing something?
Mr. Clanahan never did. He always left things to me.
I always suspected Clanahan of that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. If my services are not satisfactory, I shall be glad to tender my resignation.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. You're perfectly satisfactory, Miss Fitch. You're wonderful. It's just that, well, if I'm commissioner, I think I ought to be doing something. Going over the bills or something.
Well, it's never been handled that way. But if you insist, I've been getting up a list of the delinquents.
Delinquents? You mean people who haven't paid their bills?
Yes.
Oh, let's have a look at that. That ought to be fun.
I'll bring it in.
Thank you.
Where is he? Where's Gildersleeve?
Just a moment, please. Did you wish to see someone?
Yes, and there he is. Gildersleeve.
Hello, Judge. How did you get in?
I walked in. Gildersleeve, I want an explanation.
Judge, you've come to the right place. What do you want explained? We explain anything.
I want to know why my water was turned off.
Oh, well, we'll have to look into this. Water turned off, eh?
You know darn well it was turned off.
I'll have to take this up with our Miss Fitch. I'll ring for her. Sit down.
I don't want to sit down.
All right, stand up.
I don't want to stand up. You don't have to put on this act with me, Throckmorton. I know what's back of this. It's spite, pure and simple.
Now, Judge, there isn't an ounce of spite in my whole nature, and you know it.
Yeah, you're just like every other small-time politician. The minute you get a little authority, you start making a petty nuisance of yourself. I'll tell you what's wrong with you, Gildersleeve. You're drunk with power.
Did you want me, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Oh, yes, Miss Fitch. Have you that list of people who haven't paid their bills?
Yes, right here.
You're sure you're not just a teensy bit delinquent, Judge?
Are you accusing me of not paying my bills, Gildersleeve? There's such a thing as libel, remember?
I'm not accusing you of anything, Judge. Let's look at the record.
Of course, there might have been some mistake.
Not with our Miss Fitch.
I mean, it might have slipped my mind.
Oh, starting to crawl, eh? Let's see. E, F, G. Oh, here are the H's. And lo, Judge Hooker's name led all the rest, with $11.86. Is that right, Miss Fitch?
That's right, Mr. Gildersleeve. And Mr. Clanahan's last instructions were to stop service on all unpaid bills.
Oh, Clanahan. That explains it.
No, Judge. The $11.86 explains it.
Well, get somebody over there and have the water turned on right away, will you?
Glad to, Judge, the minute you pay up.
As a matter of fact, Gildy, I haven't got the cash on me. It's Saturday. The bank's closed. Tell you what I'll do. I'll put a check in the mail Monday.
Good. We'll be glad to resume service as soon as we receive it.
You mean you're going to let me go without water all weekend?
Sorry, Judge. It's got to be on the line.
But you know my credit's good, Gildy. It was an oversight.
I'm sorry, Judge, but this is a public office, and I propose to discharge it without fear or favor, especially where you're concerned.
All right, Gildy. I won't forget this. The man is drunk with power.
The old goat. I guess that'll teach him a lesson.
Did you mean what you said, Mr. Gildersleeve, about no favors for anyone?
Of course I meant it, absolutely. If they don't pay up, shut off their water. Why?
Because, well, have you looked at that list under the G's?
Under the G's? Under the G's. Oh, my goodness, Gildersleeve.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few seconds. If your food budget has a way of getting out of line these days, don't despair. If you're resourceful, you'll find a good many foods that save you money, yet meet your requirements of flavor and nourishment, too. One of these economy foods, surely, is wholesome Parquet margarine, the delicious spread for bread made by Kraft. Using Parquet margarine is one economy your family is sure to approve. They'll really go for Parquet's delicate, appetizing flavor when you serve it as a spread for bread or rolls. They'll appreciate the extra flavor Parquet adds to baked and pan-fried foods. Besides, Parquet margarine is an economical source of important food elements. It's a wholesome, nourishing energy food, and every pound contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. Yes, you can economize wisely when you use Parquet margarine. So why not give it a try in your household? Tomorrow, sure, ask your food dealer for Parquet. Parkay. Parquet, the margarine that's made by Kraft. And now let's get back to the great Gildersleeve. After a light lunch at the Idle Hour tea shop, he returns to the town hall ready to pitch in for a good afternoon's work.
Well, don't you take Saturday afternoons off, Miss Fitch?
Not when there's work to be done.
That's the spirit I like to see. By George, I think you and I are going to get along.
I'm glad you think so.
You know, I was thinking during lunch, Miss Fitch, there's a lot of changes that ought to be made around here.
They seem to have been started already.
What do you mean?
There are some people in your office.
People?
Women.
Women?
2 of them.
2?
They walked right in. They said they knew you.
Well, I can't imagine. I don't know any women, do I?
How about putting the desk over here? Well, how about kitty corner facing the door?
What is this?
Let's try it. Oh, Uncle Mort, help us move the desk, will you?
Yes, you're so strong. We could hardly budge it.
Well, wait a minute. What's going on here?
We're going to fix up your office for you, Uncle Mort. We've got it all planned.
Yes, it needs a woman's touch, Throckmorton. It really does. Now, you take that portrait there. That's simply got to go. I mean, it's too ridiculous.
Quiet. It's her father out there. No, my dear, if that portrait goes, I go. I'm not kidding. She'd throw me right out.
Sit behind the desk, Uncle Mort, so we can see how you look in the corner.
Look, I've got work to do here.
Oh, it won't take a minute, Throckmorton. Come on now. That's a good boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he looks wonderful in the corner. Don't you, Marjorie?
Yes. Yes, he does.
I think we ought to let him stay there. And now climb up on the desk, will you, Throckmorton, and hold this material up beside the window.
Now, really, I've got work.
Oh, now, it won't take but a jiffy. Marjorie and I shopped for this chintz all over town, didn't we, honey?
That's right.
Oh, I think it's just the smartest thing. Now, climb up. That's right. And hold it up high.
Is this high enough? Yes, Miss Fitch.
Mr. Powers of the Indicator Vindicator to see you.
Oh, my goodness. He probably wants to interview me. Let me get down off of here. Let me down off of here.
Let me give you a hand, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, hello, Mr. Powers.
Doing a little fancy work?
Yeah. Up to Daisy. Mr. Powers, you know Marjorie, my niece.
Yes, indeed, yes.
And Mrs. Ransom.
Well, how do you do, Mrs. Ransom?
How do you do? Oh, I think newspapers are so fascinating, Mr. Powers. I've been intending to subscribe to your publication right along.
Well, always glad to welcome a new subscriber.
Yes.
Oh, but somehow every time the boy comes around, seems like I haven't got my handbag with me.
Oh, is that so?
Well, I'm sorry you have to be going, ladies.
Yes, we really must.
Oh, must we?
Miss Fitch will show you out, won't you?
Gladly.
Goodbye, Uncle Mort. Goodbye.
Goodbye. That's a great girl, that niece of yours, Mr. Gildersleeve. She's got a lot of stuff on the ball.
Yeah, she's a fine girl, Marjorie.
Who's the,
she's a friend of the family.
Oh, I see. A friend of the family.
Yes, neighbor of ours.
Neighbor.
Right next door.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what I dropped around for, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Cigar?
No, thanks.
You don't mind if I...
Oh, of course not. Go ahead. Here's a match.
Thank you. I suppose you want an interview.
Well,
you've heard the old saying, Mr. Powers, a new broom sweeps clean. I propose to get rid of all the dead wood and inefficiency here and run this department without fear or favor for anybody.
That's fine, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'm glad to hear that. But I came over here with something else in mind.
Oh, what's that?
Has it ever occurred to you, Mr. Gildersleeve, that the reservoir of this town offers a beautiful opportunity for sabotage?
Sabotage? By George, I never thought of that.
The state highway goes right by there, you know.
Why, it'd be the easiest thing in the world to heave a dead cat out of a car or something.
You bet it would. Yes, sir. I've been trying to get something done about guarding it.
You know, only the other day, a man passed me on the street with a very suspicious face. It was about 5:30. I was coming home to dinner. And I don't know. He just looked suspicious, that's all.
Is that so? Well, I finally got Charlie Gates interested.
Charlie Gates?
The chief of police.
Oh.
He's coming out to the reservoir with him this afternoon to look over the ground, and I thought if you weren't too busy, maybe you'd like to come along.
I'll get my hat and be right with you. Miss Fitch, if anybody asks for me, I'll be out at the reservoir.
Very well.
On second thought, if anybody asks, don't tell them. It's a military secret. You see how easy it would be, Chief. Up around the next bend here, the road isn't 20 feet from the reservoir.
I know that. You don't have to tell me that. Just a question of man. I haven't got the force to do it.
Well, maybe we ought to call for volunteers then. You know, like fire watchers.
Yeah, water watchers.
Wait a minute. Stop the car.
Huh?
Why, what's up?
There's somebody down there right now.
What? Well, he's right. 4 or 5 of them, right down to the water.
In the reservoir? Where? I can't see them.
Stay where you are, you. Don't move. I got you surrounded.
Don't get him, Chief. I'll stay here and guard the car.
They're running for it. You'll never catch them.
Huh?
Uh-oh. One of them jumped in the water.
Drag him out of there, Chief. Drag him out.
He's got him.
Can you imagine that? Polluting the reservoir. He ought to get 10 years for that.
He certainly should.
I'm going to see that there's a penalty for this if there isn't one already.
Say, it's only a kid.
Huh?
And he's naked. But they're all kids. I bet they've been swimming.
Swimming?
Let go of me! Let go! You can't do this to me! I have to lose this reservoir!
Leroy!
Hey, I'll tell this big lug to lay off me.
Get your clothes on, young man.
Uncle Mort, do you think they'll put me in jail? Will they? How will they?
You're in jail, young man. This is the police station. This is what is known as the clink.
I know, but will they lock me up?
I can't say. The chief himself doesn't know yet. He's gone to look up the law. But you deserve to be locked up.
Oh, gee, it wasn't my fault, Unc. They dared me to, the other kids. They said I was scared.
That's no excuse, and you know it.
Yeah, I know it.
People drink that water. Do you realize that? Do you?
Yeah?
Well, why'd you do it then?
Guess I just didn't think.
I guess you didn't. You ought to know better than to go into the water at this time of the year anyway. It's a wonder you didn't freeze.
I did. That's why they dared me.
Well, dare or no dare, young man, this is a very serious offense. It's terrible. I just don't see how you could do such a thing to me. My first day in office, too. What'll people think? My own nephew. What'll the newspaper say?
I'm sorry, Unc. I don't know why I did it. I guess I'm just no good.
Oh, now, Leroy.
They ought to lock me up. They ought to... Hey, Unc, they can't give me the chair.
No, Leroy, it's not a capital offense. But it's pretty bad. Particularly in wartime.
You mean they might stand me up and...
Now, calm down, young man, calm down.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to hold him for the juvenile court, Mr. Gildersleeve. The penalty for that seems to be $25 fine, 30 days in jail, or both.
Oh!
That's ridiculous. After all, it was nothing but a boyish prank.
Yeah, that's all it was, a boyish prank.
Quiet, Leroy, quiet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. I don't make the laws here. I just carry them out.
Of course, you're quite right, Gates. Well, when does the juvenile court open?
Well, as a matter of fact, we haven't any juvenile court. Judge Hooker hears the juvenile cases, and he doesn't sit till Monday.
Judge Hooker? Well, yeah, I know him well.
Sure. We know him well.
Quiet, Leroy. Judge Hooker is one of my best friends, Chief. I'll get him right down here. May I use your telephone?
Right there on the desk.
Thank you. Judge Hooker, the old goat. I'll get this thing straightened out right away.
Yeah.
Hello, Judge. This is Gildy, your little chum. How you been? How's your golf game? Say, I'll bet you're shooting down those low 70s now, you old son of a gun. Oh, Judge, By the way, before I forget, we're in a little trouble down here. I wonder if you could run down for a minute. At the police station. No, it's nothing at all. Just a little boyish prank. But, Judge, have a heart. You wouldn't let him hold him here all weekend. No, it's Leroy, not me. Thanks, Judge. Here you'll go. I object. The court is prejudiced.
Quiet.
Turning off the court's water has nothing whatever to do with this case.
Nothing has been said about turning off the court's water.
No, but I know what you're thinking. And let me say this, Judge. I propose to conduct my office without fear or favor. I ask no favors, and I give none.
Hey, young, take it easy.
Be quiet. I shall be pleased to have the court's water turned on. Again, as soon as the court pays the $11.86 it owes, and not before.
Is the gentleman quite through?
Quite.
I should like to point out in the first place that the court is not on trial here. Young man, you plead guilty, do you not?
Yes, Judge. I mean, Your Honor.
The evidence is quite clear. In this case, as in so many others that come before this court, the fault lies not at the door of this innocent minor, but with those entrusted with his upbringing.
Why, you...
Quiet. It's hardly to be expected that a child of his tender years, brought up in such a deplorable environment, would escape entirely unscathed.
Oh, you old goat. That's libel.
Quiet.
Yes.
You circumstances, young man. I fine you $25 in costs.
What?
However, I will suspend the sentence on the fine.
Well, that's big of you, Judge.
But not on the costs.
Costs? What's that?
My time and inconvenience in coming down here.
What does that amount to?
Exactly $11.86. Take it and turn on my water.
Oh! Dear Diary, I'm going to have to do something about Leroy. I've noticed that he's been getting awfully fresh lately. But today he broke the law. I wonder if maybe Judge Hooker was right. Perhaps I haven't spent enough time with the boy. Perhaps I ought to get to know him better. There's only one thing. If I knew him any better, could I stand him at all? Good night, everybody.
Music heard on this program was composed and conducted by Billy Mills. This is Frank Bingman speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to tune in again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Chilly autumn weather calls for hearty meals even if you haven't all the time in the world to prepare them. That's why it's mighty handy to have a package or two of Pabstet around. Yes, Pabstet, the delicious golden cheese food of 100 different uses. You see, it's no trick at all to whip up rarebits, souffles, all kind of cooked cheese dishes if you use Pabstet, because it melts so smoothly and blends right in with other foods. You like making sandwiches and snacks with Pabstet, too, because it slices and spreads so easily. Altogether, you'll find countless ways to use Pabstet for tasty, time-saving meals. Nourishing meals, too, because Pabstet is a reliable source of food energy, milk protein, the milk minerals, calcium and phosphorus, and important vitamin A. So keep Pabstet on hand. Your food dealer has it in the distinctive round, flat package. Yes, tomorrow ask for Pabstet, Pabst-ETT, the delicious golden cheese food of 100 uses. This is the National Broadcasting Company.